안녕하세요. 유에나 할아버지예요. Well, this is the second part of my series of my favorite scenes from When Life Gives You Tangerines. I've already covered episode one. This is episode two. In this episode, I have six candidates for favorite scene. I have to say it was difficult to choose because unlike the previous episode where there was one scene that really stood out at me, in this case there are a number of scenes that are almost equal in value, but there's one that I, in fact, found to be my favorite scene. Okay, there are other episodes where it's obvious to me which scene it is that I loved. This one, not so obvious. Okay, so first, first candidate. Uh, Quan Cheek and Asun are walking along the harbor, and she's explained to him how she is not going to stay here on the island. She's going to marry a man in Seoul. She's going to start her life on the mainland, and and the whole scene is being filmed from the top half of the body. And then he says to her, "Well, would you like to take your hand out of my pocket and put it in the hand of the man in Seoul?" And the camera pans down, and her hand in his pocket. You know, her behavior is completely contradictory to her words. Obviously, Quan Chi is awfully important to her, but this is a very funny moment and it was a pretty good candidate for favorite scene. Second one, of course, is the first kiss. You know, they're strolling through those beautiful yellow fields of canola flowers, and again, she's explaining how she's never going to stay. She's never going to marry him. There's no way, etc., etc. And then he gives her first kiss. Pretty good scene. Um, it's a worthy candidate for favorite scene. Then there's the when she sits with her uncle, who's her father's brother, and he explains to her how she owes it to her family to go work in a factory and send them half their money and to give up on all of her dreams. Well, that's a that's a moment where you can see in IU's face that she's not going to accept her dreams being shattered like that, and she's now makes up her mind she is this is not the life she's going to have. Good scene, good candidate. Then there's, of course, where Guan Shi, she decides that she wants to go talk to Guan Shi about how she's leaving and whether he wants to go with her. And they have an exchange. He stands up and defines nostalgia because she had once previously said that she's not going to marry a man who can't even define nostalgia. So he does, and it's a cute scene. It's a fun scene, and during it, she she what I think at the end of that scene, she says, "Well, if you're really going to go with me, it's got to be forever." She takes two rocks and puts them together and says, "Now we're together and we'll never be apart." And she says, "Are you scared?" And he says, "I've never been so excited," or something like that. Very good scene. Very close to the part of it. It's almost the same scene that I really found my favorite. Um, then of course it's the actual running away. Okay, where she sneaks back into the house. She grabs the dress from her stepfather's wife, and she's dressed just like her. I can't call her stepmother because it's her stepfather's wife, but she dresses just like her, and they take off together. And you have that scene with them running out of town. I mean, that's a really charming scene. Then, of course, there's the scene in Busan where they actually get ripped off. You know, they stay in the motel and or the hotel, whatever you want to call it, and they rip them off. Um, that's that's pretty strong. It's pretty well done. Um, okay, well, those are my candidates for my favorite scenes from this episode. But the winner is no surprise, the running away. I know it blends with the nostalgia speech, but I'm not sure where the scene begins when they make the decision. You know, she says you got to come, and he says I'm so excited, never been so excited. But that whole business of running back into the house, getting the dress, having the kids going shh to each other and being quiet while she sneaks off, and then running down the street on their way to the boat. I, that was my favorite scene. Okay, well, that's it for this episode. The Bake Song, one last word about the Bake Song Awards. They just came out a few hours ago. I woke up early to watch it, or I couldn't really watch it. I just kind of followed along. And I'm glad that When Life Gives You Tangerines won Best Drama, but I'm very disappointed that they didn't recognize IU's Best Actress, Best Performance. She should certainly have won Best Actress, in my opinion. Now, you all know that I'm completely impartial. I don't have any special preference when it comes to IU. So my judgment, I mean, you could take it as gospel that this is truth. She deserved the award. And I will mention that I saw almost none of the other performances. Oh, well, anyway, Gianni, you're wonderful. You should have won the award. Uh, Always love you. I do want to give mention to the Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Supporting Actor, and Best Screenplay. They were all won by When Life Gives You Tangerines. Anyway, IU should have been honored. I'm disappointed she wasn't, but she's always number one to me. Okay, Kalki.